What's up, everybody? I'm Duncan, and this is your draft analysis for the Free State Toracats in the WBE. The World Battle Entertainment is a league run by my friend aDrive. He did invite me in for Season 2, which was great for me because I really enjoyed watching Season 1, and now I'm ready to take the world by storm with my unconventional draft strategy. As you can see from the draft, which is right over there, you can see that I have drafted hyper offense. That is immediately obvious before I talk about anything. This is a hyper offense team. I'm a hyper offense player. I do not play well with stall. I don't even play that well with balanced offense. So I really need hyper offense to really shine as a player. I think that my ability to make predictions is quite good. I think that I'm good at taking risks and coming at people with unexpected sets. I think my downside is when I try and play too carefully, I ignore my gut instinct, which is the predictions, which I think if you've watched any of the previous leagues, even the ones I didn't finish due to badly run leagues, if you watch any of them, you'll see that I'll say, I should do this turn because he's going to do this, and then I do something else because I'm like, no, I'm not going to trust my gut because I'm using balanced offense and I need to play like a balanced offense player. That's not me. I'm a hyper offense player, so we're running a hyper offense team. I was third pick, so I thought that I would really be able to nail my strategy here, and my initial strategy was hyper offense webs. So my first pick was Tapu Koko because he's an amazing wall breaker, an amazing mixed attacker. He can be special, he can be physical, you can set screens if you don't want to really go full offense with him. He's got Volt Switch and U-Turn available to him, which makes him absolutely awesome. That electric terrain boosts his electric moves by 50%, so even though his attack stats aren't that respectable, they become incredibly effective in that electric terrain with that stab, Thunderbolt or Thunder or whatever you're going for. So Tapu Koko, really fast Pokemon, really strong Pokemon, really effective wall breaker, great choice, pick one for a hyper offense team. When the pick came back to me, I wanted to go Mega Medicham because my plan was webs. And if your plan is webs, Mega Medicham is amazing. In webs, Mega Medicham is basically untouchable. He is hugely powerful with that pure power ability. He has amazing priority. High jump kick hits like a truck. And then Zen Headbutt hits like a truck. And he's got great stabs that cover each other really nicely. And he was just a great fit for my team. Medikoko was actually a really early core in OU in Sun and Moon. So bringing back that Medikoko core felt really good to me as well, because one of my favorite teams in the whole of Sun and Moon for OU was Medikoko. It was Calm Mind Koko with Medicham. I really love that team. Calm Mind Roost, Koko, and then Medicham to sweep up. Really, really cool. Came back to me again just 2 picks later, and I picked up Gliscor. I needed a defogger because obviously I'm running hyper offense. I want to be pivoting a lot. I want to be predicting. I want to be making lots of switches. But it's also a stealth rocker itself, so it punishes my opponents from switching in their walls. It punishes my opponents for switching in their counters to my sweepers. I really want to get those rocks up, and I want to get rid of those rocks, defog, and stealth rock on one mon. I don't want to waste too many picks on defensive Pokemon in this hyper offense team, so it seemed like a great fit. Politoed is where it starts to fall apart. Politoed was not the plan. The plan was Araquanid, and unfortunately Wolfie Glick decided to snipe Araquanid out from under me. I really wanted to play that Webs offense team. As you can see, Medicham and Tapu Koko, really both of them want that Webs offense because Tapu Koko outspeeds basically every Scarfer with Webs, and Medicham outspeeds everything else other than the Scarfers with Webs up. So really wanted those Webs. Araquanid was the perfect bulky water for me. He would have sealed out my core of 4 Pokemon, my Rocker, my Sweepers, and then my Webber, and Araquanid was the pick, but Wolfie sniped it away, and so we had to reassess. And I reassessed, and I was like, well, look, Koko's good in rain, right? So even if I just pick up Politoed as a bulky water type, that gets water absorb as well. It doesn't just get drizzle. Really important in a league format that it gets water absorb because I can bring it in on their water types. You know, I've got Gliscor out, they're going to go for Scald, bring in Politoed, get some healing. He's very, very fat, actually. Surprisingly fat Pokemon. Really, really useful. He hits them hard with Scald, especially if he's Drizzle. Hits them hard with that rain-boosted Scald. He's a great Pokemon. He gets good coverage. Perish Song's always there in the back, just in case. Politoed was the pick. I wasn't dead set on going pure Rain, or I'd have picked Pelipper, but Politoed was the pick for sort of a semi-Rain squad with really, really good cores for offensive cores. Next up, I picked Bishop. I picked Bishop because other people were picking Webbers. They picked Webbers across basically the board there. Every good Webber went in that pick, and so I really wanted to pick up Bishop because Defiant, you punish them for putting their webs up. Hyper Offense does not enjoy webs. I do have Gliscor to defog away, but if Gliscor gets in trouble, then I can go into Bishop, switch him in on webs, and then sucker punch their team into oblivion with a +2 attack Bishop. Very powerful, very efficient, really good pick when your opponents are picking webs. At this point, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I knew I was in hyper offense. I knew I had Rain. Kingdra is a great Rain sweeper. It also has the Critdra set with the scope lens and the critical hit boosting move that I forgot, focus energy, and then you can crit them to death. It's a really, really good pick. Kingdra's very, very powerful, especially in the Rain. I needed some coverage. I needed a dragon type because I do have that fairy steel, so I wanted Kingdra for that dragon type. It's another water type, which it's not great, but it doesn't actually have any of the weaknesses that water brings with it. It's not weak to electric. It's not weak to grass. It actually has very, very few weaknesses because it resists ice on the water side, which means it's not weak to ice. Kingdra is an amazing Pokemon. It can be bulky. People forget that, but you can have Bulkdra. It does exist, and so I picked up Kingdra. At this point, I had a core of 6 really cool Pokemon. I really, really love my core here. Politoed Kingdra, great pairing. Medicham Koko, great pairing. Gliscor's there to defog away, and Bishop punishes webs. Absolutely awesome. It also punishes any intimidators. There is a team now that has triple intimidate at this point in the draft. So really looking forward to Bishop just sitting in and letting him cycle those intimidates, and Bishop just gets bigger and bigger and scarier and scarier. So I thought it was time to draft my Z Crystal. Now, the Z Crystal was a really difficult choice for me, but looking at other people's teams, I really didn't want Dan to get the Flyinium Z, and Flyinium Z fits my team pretty well. Politoed doesn't like being switched on by grass types, but he can run Z Bounce, which actually does a surprising amount of damage, so that's definitely a thing. I also had a plan to draft more flying types or more uses of Flyinium Z later on. I have a couple of other techs that I don't really want to discuss in this video, just in case my opponents watch it. So yeah, not going to discuss those. Flyinium Z, definitely a great choice for my team. Please don't say in the comments down below what the hidden techs are, because I would really like to keep them secret. We're getting into the end of the draft here, and I saw that Gengar was still free. Insanely, Gengar was still free. The Pokemon that has been OU in every single generation. I think one of the only Pokemon that has been OU in every single generation. I know he slipped to UU now, but that doesn't really matter. Gengar is an absolute beast. Losing Levitate hurt, but Curse Body can actually come in clutch, so I'm not too bothered about a Curse Body Gengar. Absolute monster. Fast as anything. Fast as hell. Great stabs in Poison and Ghost. Really, really good coverage with the rest of my team. He just complements the rest of my team offensively. Ghost type means he's a spin blocker, so if they have spinners and not defoggers, then Gliscor can get rocks up, and I can bring Gengar in on the spins. I have really, really good offensive synergy with the rest of my team. I'm running hyper offense. People at this point in the draft are like, where are your defensive cores, Duncan? I don't need defensive cores. I need offensive cores. I am a hyper offense player. There is no grass, water, fire core here. There is no fire type on my team. It just didn't have space for a fire type on my team. How insane is that? Didn't need it. I might be the Torracats, but there are no flames here. We're also then going to draft in Ludicolo. That's a second Rain Sweeper. It's a grass type, which I kind of needed. Offensively, I needed a grass type just to deal with bulky waters if Koko gets put down. Ludicolo also gets Leech Seed access. If I do want to run a slightly bulkier team, he is another Pokemon that can fill 2 roles, just like Kingdra, just like Politoed. He can just fill that role. He can become bulky. He can run an Assault Vest, one of the best Assault Vest users, or he can be a Leech Seed leftover set. All kinds of sets are possible with Ludicolo. Also, a couple of techs like Electric Seed Ludicolo, very, very bulky, comes in on the electric terrain, gets really bulky. He is not weak to electric. Again, I love my water types that aren't electric or grass weak. That is Ludicolo again, so really, really love that about him. He is an awesome Pokemon and a great addition to this offensive team. He is just fast as anything in the rain. He can be bulky as anything without the rain. Very, very good mon. At this point, I realized I'd gone kind of all in with Rain, which wasn't my intention. I didn't really want to go all in with Rain. I wanted to have Rain as an option on my team, but I didn't want people to see it as the only option. So I decided to go for a little bit of bulk here. Xatu can be offensive, it definitely can, but it's more of a setup bulk mon with U-turn that can be a real pain in the ass. You just U-turn out every time they try and bring in a counter or a threat to it into one of your offensive threats. It's a great pivot. It is also a good setup threat, so Xatu is awesome. Magic Bounce, also great for me. Wolfie tries to set up those webs with my Araquanid that he stole from me. I'm going to bounce them straight back in his face and put webs on his side of the field, which I would love to have. So yeah, absolutely awesome. Magic Bounce is such a threat to people. People sometimes just never set up their hazards as long as you have a Magic Bouncer in the back. You never even switch it in, and they just don't set up their hazards because they don't want those hazards being bounced back on them. Next pick here seems a little odd, but it actually synergizes really well with Xatu. Xatu is a Trick Room setter, and Drampa is here. Drampa is a massive threat in Trick Room, especially with Flyinium Z Hurricane, which he does have access to. He gets a boost to his special attack when he drops below half health. He has loads of things going for him. Drampa, absolute threat. Those stab hyper voices do a lot of damage. He gets stab Dracometeor as well. Just an awesome, awesome offensive mon that actually has a fair amount of bulk behind it and can be run in Trick Room, gives me another mode, and Drampa was the obvious choice as my free slot 4, seeing as I'd already taken Bishop and Gengar in those. I did not have many points to spare. Final pick. My final pick was Ferroseed. Ferrothorn was gone, obviously. Ferrothorn was gone. But Ferroseed was a tier 5. Do you guys not realize that Ferroseed is barely worse than Ferrothorn as an annoyance, as a rock setter, as a spike setter, as a bulky mon? Eviolite Ferroseed, incredibly bulky, incredibly annoying. It can get Leech Seed still with the Eviolite. You know, it's gonna wall things, it's gonna be in the way. It's not my first pick on any squad that I'm building, but if it seems like it fits, I will use Ferroseed. I will blow people back. I almost said Ferrothorn there. You might have heard me almost say Ferrothorn. This is Ferroseed. He's the boy. That is a very seed boy. Look at him. He's a good lad. That is a good lad right there, that Ferroseed, and I'm really looking forward to using him as a slightly bulkier option. So I do have that slight bulk right at the end of the draft. I chose 3 sort of kind of bulky mons that can fill that role, but honestly, the real focus here, the real focus is offense, offense, offense. I don't have my Grass, Water, Fire core. I do have my Steel, Fairy, Dragon core kind of covered. Not the best type of Steel Fairy Dragon core, honestly, because a couple of key weaknesses there. The dragon doesn't fly, so ground just kind of wrecks them, but it's fine because I'm hyper offense. It doesn't matter what they do if they never hit me. You know, what move they click doesn't matter if I'm OHKOing them every turn. So that's the plan. We're going into this league with an all-in game plan of high risk, high reward. So I'm either going to sweep people or I'm going to get swept. And that's going to be great. It's going to be exciting, and that's what the World Battle Entertainment League is all about. That entertainment at the end. This is an entertaining league. This is all about having fun, and I decided to go hyper offense in a format that punishes hyper offense so hard because I want to have fun and I want to sweep people. I'll see you guys with the first battle of the WBE very soon. Alright then guys, that's the end of the video. If you enjoyed it, you can click up here to see more videos of this type on my channel. If you want to check out something else a little bit different, then you can click down here. And if you want to see everything that I upload, you can click the subscribe button right here.